Internal civil rights oversight isn't political. It's about due process and equal treatment under the law.
Everyone for your time. I'll try to keep my comments quick. Um, about 15 months ago, I achieved the same goal as many of the people in this room and became a federal employee. Prior to that, I had spent nearly a decade of my career in the private sector. My primary focus has always been around HR technology, process improvement, and data analytics, skills that many people across all branches of the government have remarked is sorely needed. I started my role in December as a management and program analyst and worked hard at my mission. In January, I was approached with an opportunity. My program office was in need of senior leadership, and my director had asked if I would be willing to take on the role of acting executive officer in order to expand the impact of my mission and potentially even across all of my branch. The vision was simple. I would take on the role of acting executive officer, and we would bring in a chief of staff and chief scientist to work alongside me. Instead, the hiring freeze was put in place when the new administration began. Because we were still sorely understaffed, I was asked if I would also take on the duties of the chief of staff so that I could assist in fulfilling more obligations for our agency. To be clear, I'd been working for the agency for a little more than a month, and at this point I was performing 3 duties, including 2 that were considered senior leadership. The next month became one of the most stressful and exhausting of my professional career. We lost staff, navigated executive orders, and had crisis meetings on a near daily basis. One particularly noteworthy anecdote was when we lost a scientist with PhDs in oceanography, computer science, and meteorology. Our director asked his boss what the plan was to replace this individual. His boss responded, "There are about 6 people in the world with his skill set. We don't." While all this was going on, I tried to keep my head down and focus on my responsibilities. I had just finished a 3-year project plan to completely transform our processes and systems in a way that we felt would allow the entire program office to be more accountable and transparent. 3 days after that, I was fired as part of the DOJ probationary employee purge. My firing came in the form of an email at 3:30 p.m. informing me I was fired because my knowledge, skills, and abilities did not fit with the agency's needs. I walked over to my deputy director to say goodbye, and she was shocked. No one had told her or anyone else that I was fired. After that, my program office went into survival mode. There wasn't staffing or time to implement improvements because everyone's energy was needed just to keep the mission going. Now I'll switch gears to talk about the personal impact the firing had on me. Getting this job was a huge boom for my family. We have 1 child, and we're planning on having another. My wife is self-employed, so this job's stability, benefits, and parental leave were essential to our plan. We found out she was pregnant 2 weeks before I was fired. I found out later my vision and dental care for my family was terminated the week after we were fired. Our health insurance was cut off a month later. What was supposed to be an exciting time for our family became a nightmare as we navigated the loss of income, benefits, and tried to prepare for the arrival of our daughter. I was lucky enough to get a job as a contractor for a nonprofit in June, but was forced to take a nearly $40,000 pay cut to do it. We found a way to make ends meet and welcomed a healthy baby girl in October. But what was supposed to be an exciting and comfortable expansion of our family instead became a stressful time that required us to take on debt to manage. And I think that's why I felt compelled to speak here today, to explain that while something may seem okay on the surface, the reality can be much different. My family navigated our hardships, and we are so lucky to have our daughter with us now. But because of the indiscriminate and cruel treatment we received as part of the DOJ firings, we took on debt, and my wife was forced to go back to work sooner than would be ideal. My former program office is the same way. The dedicated civil servants that are still working there are ensuring the mission stays on track. But the innovations and growth that were necessary to make sure we stay on track for the future has been put on hold.
Protect constitutional guardrails. Strengthen accountability.